Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bruce, and today I look a little bit different. I am without my glasses and my hair is done a little bit differently. Actually just woke up. Um, I just forgot to grab my glasses and my hair was kind of in my face, and so I just kind of pushed it all back. So, um, I'm only doing this before I shower because I'm playing with the dirt and I want to make sure that I am nice and clean before work today. And so I figured I'd just make this mix before I actually shower and get ready for the day. So I did wash my hands, my teeth are brushed, and yeah, if I seem a little bit low energy or if I keep on forgetting my words, it's only because I just woke up like what, 10, 20, 30 minutes ago? So anyways, let's go and get started. I do have this box here. I've been kind of playing with the cocoa coir that's in here. It's in one of these, let's see, 48 quart or the 55 liter containers. So let me see if I can lift this up. So the cube that I got, it was like one cube makes like 2 gallons. I was originally going to make or try to use half of this for a type of moss pole. It's gonna be like a cocoa coir pole, but as I was making it, I realized that the twine is just slicing right through this because this is actually cocoa coir and not cocoa fiber. I posted on my story on Instagram, which is at scrumptious_greens, because I'm a snack that that collects plants. The cocoa coir is different from the cocoa fiber after doing some research, because on my story again I thought that it was cocoa fiber. The difference is that with cocoa coir, it's finely chopped and it's like it's a finer version of cocoa fiber. Cocoa fiber is supposed to allow for a lot more air flowage, as well as it's not supposed to be as water retaining as cocoa coir is. Cocoa coir is supposed to be a lot more water retaining, and it's supposed to be really airy, and it's supposed to be really good for the plants. It was also saying that cocoa fiber does decay pretty fast. It kind of hinted that cocoa coir does the same thing, and so they were doing a lot of comparison between cocoa coir as well as what was it, peat moss, because they're basically used for the same thing, or like they have the same functionality, but the main big difference is that cocoa coir is renewable, whereas peat moss is non-renewable. Peat moss is from those bogs and from those swamps, and so it does take, like, I guess years, like hundreds of years for the moss to actually form, and so once it's harvested, you will not be able to get it for like another good amount of time. But with the cocoa coir, it does take about a year for it to be prepared and everything like that. Basically, what they do is they take the coconut husk, or like the outer part of the coconut, they let it sit in some water, let it soak for about a year, and then they treat it and everything like that to kind of get it into a form that we're able to use for gardening. So it's renewable, it's all organic, it's biodegradable, and with that being said, it does apparently decay fairly fast. And so you'll most likely have to repot it within about a year or so anyways. Oh, before I forget, it is going to be a lengthy video. I will be kind of talking about each individual ingredient. There are a few ingredients that I do have. Oh my gosh, obviously I have a few ingredients, but I do have quite a bit of ingredients, and so we'll be kind of talking about those a bit thoroughly. The main thing that I want with my mix is that I do want it to be a little bit more airy, and I want it to be a little bit more well mixed, only because I do not want my plants to be sitting in water, but at the same time I do want them to be a little bit more water retaining, because being here in Colorado, it's super dry AF, and I do have some really amazing windows that do get pretty hot, so I want to make sure that these plants are able to stay a little bit more wet, especially during the summer season, so that way they're not drying to a crisp if I somehow forget to water it by chance. So yeah, so for this one block of water, I'll try to go ahead and link everything down below if I can. But the one block that I did use, I had to use about 19 cups of water. The soil is a little bit wet. I did make this last night, so it did have about 10 hours for it to dry out. Um, and it is still a little bit wet. The reason why I had to use so much water is because there were some chunks that just didn't want to get rehydrated, and so in those little chunks specifically, I just had to hold it in my hand and just kind of like pour the water a little bit at a time until it finally rehydrated enough for me to break it down. So yeah, that's enough of the cocoa coir. I'll start getting into some of the other ingredients into my mix. Altogether, when I was calculating it before I was thinking about using this as my moss pole stuff, it came out to about 7 gallons, and so that's going to be really important for one of the ingredients later. And so up next is this pine bark mulch. This is about 4 quarts or about a gallon. I want it to be really mulchy, I want it to be really airy, I want it to be chunky, and so we're just going to add this baby in. So I can see that it is still fairly moist. There's basically no instructions for this. I'm assuming that it's just mulch, but we're going to be using it as part of the mix. So the reason why I want to use this instead of premium orchid mix is because I don't care for how chunky the premium mix is. I do have some Hoyas that are in pretty much a premium mix orchid mix already, and it does get a little dry a little too fast, so it's not my cup of tea. The downfall to that is I do end up over watering, so I want something that's again a little bit more water retaining, and it just doesn't dry out the roots too fast. If you live in a more humid environment, you might want to have something that's a lot more what's the word that I'm looking for? A lot more airy, because you do not want the roots to rot. But because I live in a dry ass environment with no humidifier, I really want to make sure that this mix is as good as I can make it. Okay, so I pretty much have this mixed up pretty well. I'm trying so hard not to cut up my hands because I'm just mixing this with my hands. I'll call that good. Yeet. It's kind of funny because I don't want dirt in my hair, but at the same time I'll be showering anyways after this. It's fine. So up next, I do have some horticulture charcoal. Let me see if I could actually open this. So this is what it looks like. I just found all of these ingredients off of Amazon. I was going to buy a different one, and then I realized that I was like, you know what, like this one in particular is a little bit more bang for my buck. Oh, okay. So this is not as small or chunky as I thought it was going to be. It's kind of like right in the middle, which is really, really nice. I'm not sure if you guys could see that, but basically it's fairly chunky. The reason why the size is a little bit important is because I don't want anything that's a little too big in the mix, but I also don't want anything that's too small. The reason why is because whenever I water anything that's too small, it's just going to go right through and it's going to pass through those drainage holes. So I really want to be careful with sizing. And so with the mulch, they're fairly large in comparison to the charcoal. I forgot how much I spent for all of these, but in the long run, I thought that it was going to be a lot cheaper than me constantly buying my mixes, because I think I was spending about $35 shipped with I think 2 to 3 quarts of soil, whereas this I think I could spend close to about $100, and I'll be having about like 7 gallons of potting mix to play with. But yeah, so that is the charcoal. The reason why I want to use the charcoal is because just in case if there's any impurities inside, the roots and at least is able to clear that up. I know that charcoal, or or at least activated charcoal, is really important when it comes to reef tanks and filtration. And so this is basically a type of chemical filtration. So let's go ahead and add all this in. Oh. So, I did not realize that this was going to be so dusty. So be really, really careful when you add it in, otherwise you'll get a huge puff of smoke. I mean, if you're a stoner, then it's great, but for me, it's not that great. So I'll just go ahead and mix this in. Try to get rid of all that smoke. I know that in the mixes I do like, it does have some charcoal in it, and I do like how it's looking right now. I kind of wish that it was a little bit chunkier, but we still have a few other stuff to add into this mix. Also, quick little side note about coco coir. For some reason, they were saying that coco coir is able to prevent some pests like fungus gnats for some reason, and so that's going to be really, really exciting. I hope that the coco coir is able to really work in that sense, because I do have some plants that have some crazy fungus gnats for some reason. So we'll see how that goes. Okay. Okay. So this is pretty much as well as mixed as I could get. Let me see if I could show you guys what's happening on the inside here. I'm weak. So I'm not sure if you guys could see that I'm using my leg and trying to make sure that it doesn't spill over. But basically, I'm not sure if you guys could see how chunky that is. Again, I'm blind, so it's fine. We don't have to see this together anyways. Maybe at the end I'll kind of do more of a close-up of what it looks like. But basically, here we have the soil and the charcoal and all that fun stuff. Cool. So, let's see. Next up, I do have some pumice. This is a little bit smaller than I would have liked in terms of the granule size. And so here we have it up close. And the reason why is because I thought that this was going to be a little bit bigger, really kind of like air it out, really make it a little bit chunkier. But I really don't mind the smaller pebbles, because Hoyas do have smaller root system, or like they have finer roots, not like hair-like roots, but like they are fairly fine. So let's go ahead and add this. This is about 2 quarts, so about half a gallon, but it is a fairly large bag. This bag was a lot larger, or it's a little bit larger than the charcoal bag. So, oof. This is also dusty, so be really, really careful when adding this in. Do not just drop them in just like I did earlier. All right. Also, I'm just playing all this by ears. I really don't have a method to my mix. I just kind of ordered everything, looked at the size, and was all like, I think it's good. Ooh, okay. So the nice thing about this one is that it looks like a perlite, but it's not going to be perlite. The reason why I wanted to use pumice instead of perlite is because I have added just perlite and some Miracle Grow soil, and what ends up happening is the water will start rising, because sometimes I let the plants go a little too dry, and so the perlite all rises to the top, and so that's no bueno. Because at that point, basically there's no aerogen. It was a waste of perlite. So I do actually really like this size. Like even though I'm really blind right now, I could see the size. It's really dramatic. It's actually really coming together really nicely. That really did the trick for this. There is about 2 ingredients left that I really want to add, and I'll tell you guys the reasons for that in just a second. So the reason why I wanted to use pumice is again to increase that aeration in the mix. Cool. So because a lot of Aroids are climbers, and because Hoyas are semi-epiphytic, or the majority of them are, I really want it to be really airy, make sure that the roots are able to grow without any problems. You also want to make sure that the soil does not get too compacted, because if it does, it can crush and suffocate the roots. So that's really important to note. So again, I'm going to try to show you guys this mix, because it is really starting to come together. Let me get closer to the camera and see what's happening. So yeah, so you guys can really see the white that's in here, and the white is the pumice. So, this looks so sexy. This looks great. This is actually really funny because this kind of looks like the mix that I have bought from a good seller off of Etsy. So if you guys are kind of like looking for just like a quick thing because you guys don't want to get your hands dirty or don't want to take up too much time, just go to her Etsy. I'll try to link that down below, but she does have some really good soil that I absolutely love, all my Hoyas love, and yeah, I think that was a great mix. Again, because I am single and because I am living on my own, I have to be a little bit more conscious about what I spend and how much I spend. My rent is a little bit more expensive to the place that I moved into, and so I just, again, have to be a little bit more mindful of what I'm spending and how much I'm spending. Cool. So, let's add in the potting soil. So, I really don't want dirt all over my carpet because I really don't want to vacuum. Using the Fox Farm soil and fertilizer soil. This is just a potting soil. Let's see. Oh, so here we have the ingredients. I'm gonna sneeze. Just kidding, no I'm not. So this has bat guano and earthworm castings. It's supposed to retain moisture. This one does have some peat moss in it. And there's other ingredients like sphagnum, peat moss, perlite, sandy loam, and fertilizer. And I guess the fertilizer down here is saying that there's 30% total nitrogen, 0.30 or 0.3% nitrogen, 0.45% phosphate, 0.05% soluble potash, which is potassium oxygen, and it also has 1% calcium. So this is basically going to be the soluble form of, I want to say, like liquid dirt. I did also buy some liquid dirt, and I do have that on the side. I did not realize that looking at the ingredients that basically those two things are the exact same thing. And so we'll kind of play this by ear. I'm just going to add this in. I don't like the fact that it does have peat moss in here, but I've heard such amazing things about this potting soil, so I'm just going to go ahead and add this in. This is a fairly big bag, and so I'm just going to add this in bit by bit. Give me one quick second. I forgot to grab a pair of scissors to cut this open. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully I didn't keep you guys waiting too long. So, Again, we have the liquid dirt here. I went to just grab this really quick because it was right next to the scissors. So the ingredients for this one, this is basically like a concentrated form of plant nutrients. I don't want to say that it's fertilizer per se because it's not concentrated in, let's say, phosphates or nitrogen or anything like that. This, like, they literally say that it's a natural plant food. And so inside here, let me see if I can find the ingredients. I can't read. I'm blind. Oh, there we go. So down here they have poultry litter, which is basically chicken poop, rabbit manure, which again is rabbit poop, bat guano, which is bat poop, chicken scat or cricket scat, which is cricket poop, worm castings, worm poop, humic shale, mycorrhizae. Mycorrhizae is a type of fungus. And then they have oyster shells, which is not going to be super big because again it had to fit in here and be soluble enough. So basically this has dissolved oyster shells in it. Dolomite, lime, alfalfa meal, blood meal. Blood meal I believe is a type of worm. Kelp meal, gypsum, concentrated fulvic acid, natural spring water, natural proprietary mineral blend, pH balancing, biodigestion, processing, and aging. So, when I was mixing this up, it sounded like a really fine powder. Even just shaking this up now and just kind of like feeling around, there's really not any, what is it? Any chunks I feel in there. But basically, this is just a container of just poop. So, that's almost essentially the exact same thing as this fox farm. And so I'm not too sure if I can overdose in terms of plant food. If you guys know, go ahead and leave that down below. But I will probably be watering like once a month with the plant food, just so that way it does have the liquid form. So yeah. Quick little side note about the mycorrhizae. There are many different strains and many different variants of mycorrhizae, and so I don't think that it'll be a problem if you guys are mixing more than one type of mycorrhizae into the mix, because I do have some mycorrhizae that I will be adding into this mix as well. Yeah, so let's go ahead and cut this open. So just cut this about halfway, and we'll just kind of like add this and kind of see how this looks as we go. If it doesn't look too hot, then at least we can stop without getting in too deep. Oh gosh. Oh, that is hella dark. Okay. So I'm actually going to cut this open all the way because my hands are a little too chunky and it doesn't actually fit into the mix or whatever. So a quick little comparison. Actually, I'm going to lean this against myself. Is that smart? No, it's not smart. I'll be... I don't know what to do! Okay. So, if we compare their mix, which is pretty dark, to my mix, is fairly light. It's only because my mix has the coconut that's in it, and so the coconut is brown and so it's a lot lighter in color. This black is probably because of all the poop that's in it. So just go ahead and throw all that in and just kind of see how it looks. But yeah, I've just heard so many great things about this. You guys could probably just get through my rambling for this part. I really don't mind. It doesn't really matter. But if you guys just want to hear me talk, then just stick around. I just heard, like I said before, I just heard really great things about this brand. So I really wanted to give it a try. And just see how it looks. Honestly, I could use this on its own and it wouldn't be a problem. I would probably add a little bit more pumice or some orchid bark or some sort of bark in here just to make it a little bit more chunky. But otherwise, I think I could have just used this soil on its own. Like, if you guys really don't want to be playing with soil and everything like that and just have some really good quality soil, I would just use that on its own, honestly. I mean, like, squeezing it, it feels great. I know that there's some chunks in there. I do see some chunks or like some bark in there. The bark is fairly small though, and so I would probably use like that premium orchid bark just to make it really chunky. I prefer to use more organic type of mixes or ingredients to make things a little bit more airy. But again, with that comes the fact that it does break down over time. I don't know what else to talk about. What do you guys want to talk about? I don't know. This is taking too long. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So I'm just kind of waiting to see how much darker I want to make this, or how chunky I do want to make this. I do like where it's going from, or I do like how it's coming out. If I figure out how to fast forward, I'll probably do that for this part because, again, I'm not really talking about anything. It's pretty boring just to have you guys watch me add all this in. Oh my god, this is gonna be an arm workout. Ugh. This actually feels so nice between my fingers. It has a weird smell to it, to be honest with you guys. I should have just done that before. Okay, so I do really like that soil mix. The soil itself basically takes up the majority of this mix. I do hope that it does stay pretty airy. Now, note earlier that I did say that, or started talking about the difference between peat moss and coco coir. The biggest difference being that one of them is renewable and then the other one is not. So I'm kind of curious to see how they both end up playing in this soil mix. Ooh, that was such a bad idea. I cannot actually tell how well mixed this is because the that potting soil is just so dark. But ooh. Basically, I'm just trying to make sure that there's no huge chunks of my original mix in here, and I could tell that because of the color. Just try to get in here, get deep and dirty. How long is this video already? Oh my god, it's getting too long. Okay, so it's all mixed up. It's all good to go. I could probably go ahead and start using this today. So after I shower, I'll probably go ahead and start potting everything up. I do have some pots on the side, but basically everything that I had, I just tossed in here, and it looks like it was the perfect mix for me. Completely out of luck, but yeah, that is everything. I'm actually going to be taking a picture of this and doing a video more on my Instagram, only because I cannot lift this box, period. Like, there's no way that I'm going to be lifting this box high enough for me to show you guys. So that is everything that I have. Like, that's my mix, and I'm really loving it. Would I order all those ingredients again? Hell freaking yeah. I do think that was good quality stuff, and I do like the size of everything. I mean, the most important thing is that whenever you pick it up, it doesn't stay clumped up together. So if I give it a squeeze, it just kind of falls apart, and that's what you want. But yeah, so that is my video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright guys, so I was looking at the floor in all my ingredients, and I just realized I did not add one of my ingredients in. So I'm back again really quick. So this is the micro heisei that I got. This is from Dynamico. The ingredients back here says that for transplantations, for like a 1 gallon mix or whatever, or a 3 gallon mix, then for a 3 gallon mix, I'm supposed to use like 1 tablespoon of micro heisei. And so overall, this entire thing is like 3.5 ounces or 100 grams. I honestly thought that it was not going to be enough, but with the reviews that it has, they're basically saying that this is really good for their money. I believe that this was a little bit pricey. I don't remember what it was at. Again, I'll have to link that down below. The granules are super small. As in, I'm not sure if you guys could see that without me tipping it. Oh. Let's see. Yeah, that's not going to work. The camera's too far down. Let me try moving it. So the granules are super small, so I'm just going to sprinkle this into the mix. Basically, so micro heisei, really quick, because I didn't really explain that earlier. Micro heisei is a type of fungus that has a symbiotic relationship with roots. Basically, the micro heisei will end up helping the roots become bigger and stronger, and helps it absorb nutrients a lot better. In one of the mixes I was using from the person that I used to buy from off of Etsy, she does use micro heisei in her mix. I don't know what strain, but I have noticed a significant amount of root growth in those planters. And so I really wanted to utilize that and really capitalize on that, I guess you want to say. And so we'll just go ahead and add this in, and we'll call this a video, because I don't think that you guys want to see me mixing all of that all over again. And I still have so much left. Like, I still have about half the bag. So it does come in basically like a little more than half a bag, because I did just take out 2 tablespoons. But otherwise, like, I could probably use this again the next time that I need to get or need to make soil. So again, now that is everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, so sorry about that forgetful part, but that's okay.